This dish is Scotch broth, and it's pretty much a staple even now in a lot of kitchens in Ulster in Northern Ireland. And again, it's got all really fantastic fresh local produce, all seasonal. And again, it's something that was made, it's rustic, it's a peasant food just to sustain everybody. The key bit of the soup is the shin of beef, which is this here. And shin of beef is really pretty much down at the bottom of the ankle, or the hough, it would have been called. So hough of beef, and that's where you start. So you've got a bone in here. It's a really cheap cut, so you can sort of see the muscles on it. So it's going to take a wee bit of cooking, but that's where all the flavour is. You know, you get the flavour from the cheaper cuts. So a bit of sea salt, and then I have a pan here that it is pretty hot, so I'm going to put a bit of oil in it. And then I just want to seal off the meat. This probably wouldn't have been done traditionally. Traditionally, you'd have blanched it, so you'd have put it into a pot, you'd have brought it up to the boil, you'd have drained it off, and then it'd come back in again. But this way it's a bit handier, and also you're sort of caramelising the sugars in the meat. So just in, nice and hot. Another wee bit on top. And we just really want to seal that. So and then the next stage, when that's sealed off, the next stage of the soup. And this is sort of the starchy bit, so this is the bit that fills you up. This is what we call in Northern Ireland soup mix. And you won't find this in any other part of the world probably. And all it is you have a look there, it's pearl barley, there's some split peas, there's some yellow lentils, and then we've got the wee red lentils. And that's it, but it's predominantly barley. And again, barley, you know, it fills you up, it's good, it's healthy. So this is like a fat-free soup as well, you know, so it's amazing. Into the pan now, just with the shin, I just want to flip that over. Just to sort of seal the other side. You get a nice bit of colour in that, if you can see that there. The reason why to seal it as well is whenever you put on your liquid and it all comes up to the boil, you're avoiding that grey scum that you get. If you just stick everything in together, it'll give you a scum. This, you're sort of caramelising the sugar, so that's not going to happen. And then I think that's quite well sealed now. So we just add water to that. So at this stage, I'm going to add the soup veg mix. Just add that in, and then bring that up to the boil and just let it simmer. We're going to let that simmer for about 30 minutes, 30 to 40 minutes, until the barley starts to soften, and then we're going to add all our vegetables in at that stage. So that's the first stage. I've had this in for roughly about 45 minutes. So my beef is kind of, you can see it cooking a bit. The barley and the veg is puffed up nicely. That's just exactly what you want. So we're going to put in a few vegetables here. So all traditional. Turnip, which is this one here. Turnip, or neep in Scottish. If you're in America, it's called a rutabaga. So that goes in. Carrots as well. And I used carrots here that are from sandy soil, so they're the best kind of carrots. They're really sweet, so that's important. The other thing, onion. So just chop the onion really, not too finely, because you don't want it a wee bit. So onion in there. Put one onion in, because I'm going to put leek in as well. So leek you get that lovely savoury flavour as well. In there, and then the leek. So just split the leek down the middle, just give it a really good wash. Worst thing in the world is bits of grit from leek in a soup. So just chop the leeks up, and then they go into the pan as well. So lovely. The leeks there. So this is just anything you want really. One thing I would never put into this, and this just, you can if you want, but is parsnip. And I suppose it's just traditional, and the parsnips go mushy. So you want those nice big hard vegetables like turnips or carrots. The last thing that goes in then is soup celery. So soup celery is indigenous to Northern Ireland. Again, You will never get this anywhere else in the world. It used to grow wild in hedgerows, especially around County Down and the coastal areas, you know, around Portavogie, around there. But now it's cultivated, and it's not, the stalk looks a wee bit like celery, but it's a lot thinner, and it's got that bit of red, sort of pink hue off it. But it smells like celery, but it's like a bitter celery. But this is the essential part of a Scotch broth. If you can't get the soup celery, you could just put celery leaves in if you get dark celery leaves. And the thing about it is, normally when you cook, you put your lovely fresh greens in at the very end. This is an exception. You want to get these in at the beginning, and the whole thing is that they wilt down, and they're absolutely. This is delicious. But this is the essence of the broth, the shin and the soup celery. So just chop up the thicker bits of the bottom, and then we'll just sort of shred the leaves at the top. There we are. And then that just all goes in as well into the soup, and that pretty much would really leave that probably, I would give that another hour, and then that way you know your beef's going to be fork tender, your vegetables will have melded into it, and you've got a really beautiful big pot of broth as well that'll perfect for I would say perfect for a January day, but also perfect in July as well, because it's just delicious. There we are. So our soup's ready. The shin, as you can see here, is pretty much falling apart, which is what you want. You want it really nice and tender. So we'll take that out for a second, just set that aside. All the other vegetables you can see in there just nice, and the barley, the starch in the barley slightly thickens the soup, but it is a broth, and it smells beautiful with the soup celery and all the other vegetables. So we're going to just finish off with some parsley. So if you get some nice curly parsley, which is traditional, but rather than don't throw out the stalks, they're nearly the best bits, but just chop them nice and finely. You know, when you get down to the leaves, then just chop them up. Now you don't have to be really, really fine with this, because it's just going to wilt into the soup. You don't want, it nearly adds, it's nearly like another wee extra sort of vegetable, this. And it gives the whole thing a nice fresh zing just at the very end. So just while we're chopping up the beef, we'll just let that cook down. And that gives that that lovely bit of freshness right in at the end. And then the shin, you have a wee look at the shin here now. So it'll sort of chop up nicely for you, wee raggedy bits there. And the thing about shin is it's relatively cheap, but you've got the bone in it, and you always get the flavour from the bone, because it's like making a stock. But then we've got this lovely meat to finish it all off, and get that shredded. And then if you have a dog there, that's their dinner, so that's always good. And that's about it really. Yeah, take those wee nice bits of veg. Is there? Nope, that's us. And then that just goes straight back into the pan. And there's quite a lot of meat in that, so that's it. And then we'll just give that a nice stir around. So you've got your lovely, in here there's turnip, we've got leeks, we've got carrots, we've got onion, we have the soup celery, the soup mix, which is the barley and the lentils, and then we've just finished it off there with the shin and some parsley. So we've got this lovely tureen in Arthur Cottage here. Unfortunately I don't have a ladle, but I'm going to improvise, so we'll take that and just spoon that in there. Now traditionally, and I remember doing this as a child, you would have that, but then you would keep it for a couple of days, and it always gets better. Next day it's better, day after that's even better. And on a Saturday we always had the big bowl of soup, and then a floury potato stuck in the middle of it all, which was absolutely delicious. So that's our Scotch broth, our Ulster-Scots dish made with beef shin or hough of beef. We've got soup celery, turnips, carrots, leeks, we've got the onion and lovely bit of parsley in at the very end. it smells beautiful.